So I said, we're having regular tests. So sometimes I'm not able to join because we have in the after evening also.
Okay. So this
Sir,
way, are you getting?
Adrita is not there.
Adrita is not there. Okay.
I have
Adrita
added
is
her in
not
chat.
well.
Okay.
No, sir, Adrita is not well. She'll not join.
All right.
Sir, today Yash will not come.
Oh, what happened to him?
Sir, he has gone for an eye checkup.
Okay. Okay. All right. It'll do. I just wanted to see what all things were there in the book. See, I'll discuss the whole chapter, and after that, if you go through the book, you will understand it yourself. The very first thing is like when we write programs. So far, we have seen that we have used many of the functions, isn't it? We have used string functions, we have used math class functions, and we have also used functions from buffer reader class, like readline. We have used read. We have used functions like parseInt, parseDouble, parseFloat, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, what way it helped us? Can you tell me? What way it helped us? Like
So
how
it
it
decreases the length of the program.
decreases the length of the program. Only that or something else also? Yes, it decreases the length of the program. Fine. What else? What if
Sir,
I say,
multiple tasks can be performed by using some of the statements.
okay. Now, what if I say that it simplifies the program also? Like I don't need to go to the criticality of the program. Like if I have to simply read the data from the user, I will simply write buffer reader BR equals to or scanners SC equals to, like that. That means things are readily available for me for my use, isn't it? Do you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the only purpose for what actually these are made is to help us. Help us means those who write programs to write the codes easily without wasting much time. Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Now, who made
Yes,
these?
sir.
Who made these methods? Who
Yes,
made these
sir.
functions? Can you tell me that?
The programmer.
Programmers.
So the
No,
programmers.
here we are the programmers. So we will not consider the makers of Java as programmers here, because they are the developer of the language. They are like someone who provided facilities to us. Can we say that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So what happened is the makers of Java, they have made many methods and many classes, objects, and then they have placed those classes and objects and packages inside a folder or set of folders, and using import statements, usually we reach them or we access them and use them in our programs. So these methods which are made and are kept in the JDK, JDK means the Java system, Java development kit, is for one single purpose, that is to make our work easy. All right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what they do is, after making the whole program, they keep the program in packages which are also known as library packages. Now, there are many functions which are made in Java, and few functions are of same type, like say mathematical functions or functions related to mathematics are kept together with single purpose, with only one purpose, that is so that it can be easily available to us. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So that is the reason these classes are known as library classes. Now, in fact, like if you consider a library is what? Consider your school library and tell me what you see in the school library.
Set of books.
Can we consider that those books are nothing but the resources?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
so library classes are nothing but those classes which are kept in the Java system in form of a repository. Repository means a storage place where things are collectively kept just for one single purpose, and that purpose is to avail the things when it is needed. I'll show you one small diagram now. Wait a minute. Let me draw it. Wait a minute. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we know that something called JDK is there. Now we don't call it JDK at all. We call it Java second edition. Or sometimes we call it J2SE. And there are many related things with it. One is known as JRE, that is Java Runtime Environment. So this whole thing gives us a system, and when we install Java in any terms in our computer, we get a very big folder. Think that this full big box is a folder, and the name of this folder is nothing but Java. Got it? Now, this Java folder has many folders inside it like this. Now, inside that there are folders like this. Have you ever heard of these names?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, package.
Yes, sir.
So, if I say that this whole big yellow block is the library, where all these are nothing but cupboards of the library. Now, further inside this, there are many important classes. See, Like inside lang package, there is very important class called system. One more very important class. Let me make boxes. It is going to look better ultimately. Which you must have used. All of you have used. I'll place these things one by one. There's a class called math class. You have used it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
There's a
sir.
class called string class. That also you must have used. There are
Yes, sir.
many classes like this. Now, from the very early days when you started writing programs, in class ninth, maybe when you were taught about writing programs, you must have got these functions or these things used in almost every program. Like system is so common that in every program, one statement at least is there using the class system. For performing mathematical operation, we write math.pow, math.sqrt, math.rint, math.floor, math.ceil. There are many functions which we have seen. String, the whole big chapter we have done on strings. And we remember that whenever we declare string s equals to something, then one string gets occupied in the memory and then acquires some set of functions also, like length function, character at function, index of function, and there are a lot many beyond what we have done in our syllabus. And few in our syllabus which are there I have not done purposefully so that I can do it later. Now see this thing, integer and double. How many of you have used these classes?
Sir, used.
Where? Where have
Sir,
you used it?
program.
Where, like what statement?
Sir, to accept average and all.
No, not like that. You have used it like integer dot parse int, double dot parse double. In front of those statements, the integer which we wrote was this integer. When we write double dot parse double, that double is this double. All right. It is not the data type. It is something else. Now I will come to some more of similar kind. Now, if you remember, we have done buffer reader. We have done
Yes,
input
sir.
stream reader.
So scanner.
Not that. Wait. Input stream reader. I had to break it because if I write it like smaller than this, you will not be able to read it. So it is like this. We have written scanner was inside which package?
Util.
Util.
Sir, util.
So so I'm writing it where? If you see, I'm writing it inside util package. So what happens here? See, when the makers of Java decided to make the Java system, they gifted the programmers a big set of functions, set of methods, so that these methods can be used for writing the programs easily. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when there are
Yes,
huge set of functions available, then there was a confusion in organizing them. So in order to organize it easily, organize it well, what was done? It was kept in different folders. Now these different folders in case of Java are known as packages. Or what packages are? In a simple word, in simple terms, we can say packages are the containers to contain classes and sub packages. Is it okay? Have you understood what I have written? So up here, you can see there is a package called Java. Now this package Java stores or contains many sub packages inside it. Sub packages inside it, you can see I have listed 6. In fact, there are many more than this. I have particularly taken the first 3 here because in your program so far you were introduced to these packages. Now, whenever in our program I want any set of class to come and get available in the program, I need to state it using the keyword import. All right. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, what we used to write, if you remember, so let me write what it is. What is import? It is used as a keyword to make the packages available the program to the programs being coded. Now, how do we use this keyword? Now, in order to use this keyword, we write import, then space. Then say if I want to access this particular class, then I'll have to consider few things like where is this class stored? It is stored in Java, which further stores util, and scanner is inside util. So to reach scanner, what we need to write? We need to write something like this. Have you understood this thing? Yes or no? What I said? Where is scanner? If I want to use scanner class in my program, where is scanner class associated?
Util. Sir, inside util subpackage.
So this util subpackage is inside which package?
Java package.
So what shall I write here? I shall write
Java.util.scanner.
okay. Now, say for example, if in my program I want to use a string class, what shall I write?
Java.lang.string.
Okay. So there I should write something like this, isn't it? I should write import java dot lang dot. If I write it, the string class is going to be available in my program, and I'll be able to use the features of string class, isn't it? Okay.
Yes,
But
sir.
have you ever seen that this statement we have never written in our programs before we did string class? We made we wrote many string programs, isn't it? Have you ever seen this statement written in any of the programs? No. Why no? There is a reason. This is not required at all. Why it is not required? The reason is lang package is a by default package. What does that mean?
So if we do not import any package, it will be import automatically
Why so?
because it is default package.
No, no. Why it has been made default package?
So because it contains all the package, all the primitive package.
All the primitive package or all the primitive? No, no, no. You have understood maybe like you are not being able to state it in words. See, lang package contains the most commonly used classes and methods, and hence are made available for all the programs written. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
See, the makers of Java know that there can be no program made or no program written without using system class. Have you ever written any program without using system class? System.out.println or system.out.print.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So when makers of Java know that we cannot write any program without using scanner class, without using system class, then why to leave a scope of inviting the or importing it in the system? Why not straight away made it available? So they made it available. Is it okay? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the discussion on this library class and library packages actually will not have lot many things. It is going to have restricted things here. I'll show you. Let me pass it on to your WhatsApp. Let me write few more details with packages. So now I'm going to send you this thing for your reference. Then I'll show you some pages of your book. So please see this. If you go through, you are going to find out that in book also these things are listed. Okay. But I have never seen anything called this. I don't know why your book author has written this, but this thing I have never seen. I have never seen a package called math package in Java. The- Can you all see the screen?
No, sir.
Yes.
Cannot see the screen?
Sir, I can see your screen, but your voice is cracking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, today so I'm
Yes, sir.
okay. Now listen to what I'm saying, try to understand. Now this thing is incorrect in your book. There is nothing called math package. Math is a
Sir, your voice is totally cracking.
okay. Today so I cannot help also in this situation.
Sir, now it is audible.
Now it is audible.
Yes, sir.
Now today my broadband is totally off. It is not working at all.
Sir, why it is wrong?
Huh?
Sir, why it is incorrect?
Why it is incorrect means this does not exist. I don't know why the author has written this in his book. This does not exist only. There is nothing called math package. Math package is not there. Rather, what I have sent you. It seems why you don't see the things properly. Now you will say that is unnecessarily up to me. Now, where did I write math? Here? So is
Yes,
math
sir.
a package? Is it a package or a class?
Class.
Class. Inside what? Inside which package?
Lang.
Lang. So in your book, if you see, they have mentioned it as the separate package, which is totally in. Is it okay? So never write it in your book. Never write it in your exams. This thing is totally incorrect. So never write it in the exams. Consider all these things. These are all correct. There are few more packages, but for us, we are only going to refer the three. Applet, not in our syllabus. Net, not in our syllabus. AWT, that is also not in our syllabus. So we at least should know lang package as the default package. IO package is the package related to input and output. Util package related to all utility things. It can include whatever. It can include mathematical calculation. It can include input output. It can do file operations. It can do so the functions which are there inside the utility can be used through util package. Something through IO can be used through IO package. So that way things can go. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now they have also told about the import statement setup. Now, if you notice here, if it is written import java.io dot asterisk, this asterisk means what? Asterisk means
So asterisk means that the package is available for all the classes.
yes, it is going to
So
have
class
all the
name is
classes.
like
Say in this
package.
case, we are not specifying any particular class here. It will include all the classes, whatever is there. Now, I have written only 5 classes here. There can be more classes also inside it. If it has, say, if it has 55 classes inside it, all 55 classes are going to be made available with asterisks. Is that okay? Now this is very
Yes, sir.
important statement. Java.lang is a package that is imported by default to any Java program. Questions are also there in board examination based on this. Is it okay? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, primitive data type and composite data type. Now, what is the difference between primitive data type and composite data type? Let us just discuss it in a brief, because otherwise things are all available and present here. Primitive data types are those that are pre-existent. That means makers of Java, they only have made it, put it in the compiler, made it available for the compiler of Java, and we can directly use them. Like int, byte, short, long, float, double, boolean, character, all these. Okay? And few data types are there which are made with reference to something which is already there, or are derived from something which are already there. Like say, when we were doing arrays, what we did, one array had multiple blocks of integers or multiple blocks of double type of values, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That means we can say that array is a composition of multiple integer type of values. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Integer array
Yes,
is a
sir.
composition of multiple integer blocks. Double type of array is composition of multiple double type of blocks. Now, similar to that, when I define a class in terms of object-oriented programming, then I consider a class to be made up of multiple attributes. Now, these attributes are defined in terms of basic data elements. So, a class called student can have elements like roll number, admission number, class, section, name, father's name, mother's name, address. So all these things are going to be stored in what? In terms of variables. So a class also can be considered as a composite data type. The reason is it is composed of multiple basic data elements. So if you consider the difference between primitive type and the composite type, you will find that primitive type is the single fundamental atomic value element, whereas composite one is made up of set of primitive type or non-primitive type also sometimes. Primitive data types are defined by the system developers, that means those who have made the language, and composite data types are usually made by the like process of the language. Is it, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, so far, what you must have understood or what you actually need to understand, even if you have not understood, you tell me. We have found that there are two types of values. One is primitive, another is non-primitive. A non-primitive is known as
Composite.
composite as well as
User defined.
user-defined also, plus
Reference.
reference type. Now, we need to understand one thing very clearly. I have discussed this thing earlier also, if you remember. Whenever any primitive type of value is created, directly the value is stored. Whereas in case of reference type, value is never stored. The address is stored. Do you remember? We discussed it when we were
Yes,
discussing
sir.
strings, when we discussed arrays. I said array and strings are reference type, that means non-primitive type, and they don't store the value. They rather store the starting or block where the data is stored. Now, from that particular point, the data is continued and is taken up. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, this difference between primitive type and composite type, we need to understand that computer deals with primitive type and reference type in completely different manner. The way in which the primitive types are dealt and the way in which the reference types are dealt, they are completely different. Now, what we actually need to understand in this case is when we require to read data from the user through keyboard, what happens? Say, I want to read an integer. I want to read an integer. I want to read a number in integer. So what statement shall I write here?
Integer dot parse it q dot readline.
Okay. In short, I should write or I should use this function. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
why do I need to put this statement? Please see it, and then if you don't understand, please tell me. I will explain it. Now, this buffer readers BR object which I have created cannot read anything other than a string. All right.
Okay, sir.
So
Yes,
if I
sir.
use if I write import java.io.asterisk and I try to make input stream reader, buffered reader, and IO exception available to my program, and if I think that using this I will be able to read an integer or I will be able to read a double, that means I'm doing some mistake there. So br.readline, that means using the buffered reader, there is no way of reading anything of integer type or anything of double type. So what happens is buffered reader can only read data in terms of a string. Now, what kind of value is a string? Right now, we discussed that it is not a primitive type, it is rather reference type. That means the way we are expecting the integer and double to be there in the computer, string will not be like that in the computer. If you remember, there was a way of converting an integer to, if I would have written it like this, say integer a equals to 5, and here somewhere in this, if I write, sorry for the handwriting, if I write do you remember this typecasting?
Yes, sir.
So this is explicit typecasting. This is there in the syllabus of class 9. At present, I'm doing class 9 students, and I'm covering this part only. So we know that from one primitive type to other primitive type, we can directly typecast and we can convert from one form. Can you hear me clearly? Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Who got disconnected? Please see. I think Rohit. Rohit, I have added him. He only. Achha, J2SE and JRE, they are different versions of Java. Earlier, we used to call it JDK, Java Development Kit. These days, we don't call it Java Development Kit as such because now there are many different variations in Java. Multiple fields have come up, so different things are for different purposes. So J2SE is Enterprise Edition, Java form, and JRE is Java Runtime Environment. There are two different versions available for Java. Now, if I need to convert a reference type of value to a primitive type of value, then I need to use a particular class known as a wrapper class. Why wrapper class are needed? Because when JDK 1.5 and earlier JDK 1.5 and earlier versions were present, that time, except buffer reader, there was no other way of reading data directly into the program. Now, if there were no direct way of reading data from the user other than buffer reader, that time to convert the data which we are going to even of string into integer, we needed a function, and that function is parseInt function. Understood? So
Yes,
parseInt
sir.
function is inside integer class. Now integer class is a particular specific class which is meant for converting reference type value to primitive type value and vice versa. That means if you want to convert string to integer, you can write integer.parseInt. If you want to convert integer to string, that also is possible. For that, what I need to write, I'm showing you here. into string we write can you see?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you an example. This size is okay. Now, say for example, if I have int a equals to 123, and I want this to come into string, I'll write like this. What will happen? The value of a, which is of integer type, is now going to be converted to string and will get stored here. And in a similar fashion, if I want string to integer, what I will do? If I write string str equals to, then I can write it like is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So similar to that, if I want float to string, what I will write? And if I want to convert are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the concept of wrapper class? Have you understood? The concept of wrapper class is very simple. Wrapper class the set of classes that contains respective method sets for converting object, within bracket we can write like string based values to primitive type values and vice versa. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Now there are a few common wrapper classes. So for each type of primitive data type, for each primitive data type, there is a wrapper class available. Like primitive type, and then I'll put a hyphen, and then I'll write wrapper class. So the first primitive type which I will pick up is character. Now, what
So you are not audible.
No, I'm not speaking now. Just writing.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Now, what you can notice, now tell me. Don't you think there is a very easy way to remember which wrapper class is for which particular data type?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, what you can notice, what special thing you can notice, that primitive type,
So primitive type. So it's starting with small letter and wrapper is with capital.
okay.
So wrapper class is the full form of primitive type.
So can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'll take a 5 minutes break. All right. Please go through page number 140, 141, and 142. By that time, I will be back. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
After returning, I'll tell you where I went. Yes, I'm back. Have you all gone through those pages?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood? Do you have any doubt there? So what I was telling you to see, those 3 pages explain how to convert a primitive data type to string, like integer to string, float to string, double to, but the whole thing can be in one order understood when we consider it in terms of wrapper class. Have you all understood the concept of wrapper class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mitrashish, you have pointed out a very nice thing. Why that F? Where is Lucy? Can you see the screen?
No,
Can you all
sir.
see the screen?
No, sir.
Why I am showing you? Is it visible now?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
It is visible
Yes, sir.
to everyone.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
It should be visible now.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to run this code and you see there's going to be some problem. See, these things are the topics that are taught in class 9. What happened? What error is it showing? Can you see it at the bottom?
Incompatible types.
So all these days you must have learned that this is how we write a double value. We write a float value also like this only. 1.5 is a float value. Is not it? Now remember, this is a real constant. Remember this, listen to it very carefully. This is a real constant, and real constant is always of double type. Now which one is big? Which one is big, double or a float?
Sir, double.
Double. Now can a double type of value come to float?
No, sir.
No. So certainly, if I'm writing one, now if I try to run it, there's no error. Because integer, one is what? Integer type. Now integer is smaller than float type. So a smaller can go and get stored in a larger block. Isn't it? Just imagine if there is a parking lot and there is a parking space for a truck. Can a cycle be parked in the truck's parking space? Yes. But can a truck be kept in a parking place of a cycle?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So one can be stored in float type. Now if I want to store half in A, I can do two things. If I write it like this, what will happen? This is of double type. This double type value is going to be converted or taken in form of float and will be captured in A. I run it, no syntax error, there is no problem, it is going to run also. If I show it, I'm showing you, I'm running it here. It is showing you A equals to 1.5. The other way of doing this is, don't typecast it, use a typecasting character. If you write some number of real nature, that is a real constant followed by small f or capital F, it is going to be treated as a float. See, now it is not showing any error. Is it showing any error now?
No, sir.
Now if I run, it is going to run also the same way it ran earlier. In place of small f, I could have taken capital F also. This capital F also would have executed the same way. Is it okay? So will you remember this thing?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat before?
Yes, sir.
Which part?
Sir, the part you explained just now.
I said that you can store. You want the whole thing to be repeated or just that part, last part?
The whole.
Whole. Okay. I said 1.5 is of real constant type, and real constant are of double nature. Double nature means double data type nature. Now, if 1.5 is of double type, no matter how small value it stores, if it is of double type, can it be stored in a float variable? No. It cannot be stored in a float type variable. Now, if it cannot be stored in float type of variable, what is the remedy? The remedy is if I typecast it to float. If I write like this, what will happen? This 1.5, which is of double type, will now be considered as float type and then will be stored in A, which is of float type. So there will be no problems. Got it? Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, there is one more way. Yes.
Sir, what is the use of using float? We can use double in all the programs. So like float cannot be true for all the real values. Still, why do we use float?
Yes. Now, when you are supposed to store a smaller value, comparatively smaller value, smaller than double type, and you don't want to waste memory, why will you waste 4 bytes of space if you want to store a smaller value? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Say someone's marks you want to store. Now, marks, if you want to store, you definitely will not go very high, and you will not even go more accurate also after decimal point. You will only require 2 digits sufficiently enough.
Yes, sir.
So if you are keeping a double type of variable in that place, you are every time occupying 8 byte space. Now, if there is one array which has 100 blocks. Now just imagine 400 bytes you just wasted for nothing. Have you understood what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, we will have to be a little more wise, wiser. Like with wisdom, we will have to decide what to take and what not to take. Is that
Okay,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
So what I was telling 1.5 small f or capital F or typecasted to float. Whatever I write, I can work it out with it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
No. Job. So, shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this chapter has nothing as such in like that details. If you now go through yourself, you will understand this chapter. There is nothing very typical to learn or very difficult to understand. Okay, see what we have written or what we have discussed, hardly anything, but will cover entire thing whatever is there in your book. See this program. They have tried to use all types of string to integer, string to long, string to float. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Next is character data type. How do we read it? That also I have explained. Now, can you see this particular part? Page number 147, step 3, last paragraph. Have I taught you how to read a character?
No, sir.
What you are saying?
So you have taught in scanner class.
Huh?
So in scanner class you have taught.
In which class?
Scanner.
No, no. So I'll show you how to read a character. I've never shown you this statement. Why?
Sir, shown.
So how can you say that I've never shown you? This is how we read a character. Again, I'll tell you the uh, thing which is written in the book. You try it this way, not like this. Yes, you try it this way, and you will find that this will not work. I'm showing you this thing. Can you all notice page number 147, step 3, last paragraph.
Yes, sir.
So this will not work. Here, if you see step 3 in scanner class, that is the only way of reading the things. Right. बगल वाले घर पर गए तो मेडिकल इमरजेंसी है तो हम बात करेंगे कैसे बोल Can you see this? I'm going to run it now. Let us see whether this runs or not. I've taken A and then I've taken B. A equals to A, B equals to B. Is it showing? Working fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'll write how to read a character. So I'm sending you this thing. Now I will go in your book's way. Your book shows like this. Just compare it and tell me. Page number 147, last paragraph, step number 3. Shows it this way?
Yes, sir.
Which page number?
147.
145.
What 145? Here it is 147.
Sir, in my book it is 145, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait, it is my mistake only. That means, wait a minute. 145. Ha. How come? I'm talking about this page. See here. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
input a character. It is 147 or 145, I don't know. Here, so I can see it as 147 only. Maybe some mistake. Now, that is not the point. The point is whether this code is going to run or not. Let us see. No syntax errors. Now I'm going to run it. See what happened. It did not give me any scope. It did not give me any scope to read the next character.
Yes, sir.
I'm running it once again. If I press A, so far it is okay. The moment I will press enter, what happened? It is not letting me read the value of A. Now, if I want to use scanner class, how shall I do it?
Sir, can we write br.readline, sir, instead of these statements?
br.readline will read a string. How can you read a string in place of a character?
Sir, but in like say string chapter also, sir, various times we have to accept a character, so we directly use br.readline only.
Why you are not going through what I am showing you? See the last program what I have done. This is a wrong program I am showing you that this program is written in your book. The code is wrong. That is what I am showing you. Before that, I have shown you the correct one. See that. Mitrashis, is it correct character dot at 0? I'm sending you the code, you just see and then you will understand what is happening. Follow this on to read it. This is working fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, one thing you keep in your mind, whatever is written in your book, let it be. You are going to follow only these two ways. If you're using upper reader, this way. If you are using scanner class, this way. You should not use anything other than that. All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mitrashish has asked why character at. What is the reason we are using character at? I'll explain that. Try to understand this. What will this do? br.readline is going to read a string. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So br.readline is going to read a string. Now, if I write trim, what will happen? If by chance it has some blank space in the beginning and blank space at the end, those blank spaces are going to be removed. Now, I get a string which has no blank space in the beginning, no blank space at. Now from that, if I write character at 0, which character I will get? The first character?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Now, if user supplies only A, then A is going to be read as a string. From
Yes,
this
sir.
string, if I write character at 0, the only character in the index 0, so it is going to consider this in what form? From the string, it is going to convert it to, means it is going to take out that data in terms of a character. Now that character is going to come and get stored in A. So we are doing that. Whenever we are reading a character, we will have to read from that string, so that if user has supplied something like this, that means user has put some blank spaces in the beginning, this after trim should become like this, and later I should extract single character from this way. Have you understood what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So the purpose of trim is if by chance user has given, I'm saying that only, wait. If by chance user is giving blank space in the beginning, then if I don't trim it, what will happen? If I directly read the zeroth character, what will happen? Will I be reading A or I will be reading blank? Tell me, what will I read in this case? br.readline.character at 0. And if user
So
supplies
blank.
some blank spaces,
So
yes.
blank.
So do I want blank space to read or the first character which user has given?
First character.
First
So to
character.
ensure that, what I will do is I will trim it. So if I trim it, this double quotes within blank, a few blank, and then A is going to turn to. I'll read like this. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So this way, if you now go through the whole chapter, I don't think you are going to find anything which is difficult to understand as such. And if there is anything which is difficult to understand, we are going to discuss that in the next class, and then we are going to continue with the functions. Okay?
Actually, I was asking the user character at 0.
Huh?
Sir, user character at 0. So true or no?
You type what you want to know. Zeroth index character is what? Do you remember the string function 0? Character at 0.
Yes, sir. So first
What is
character.
so that's what I want. I am taking a string. From that
Okay,
string, I
sir.
want to take the first character because that is going to be the
Okay, sir.
user's input.
Yes, sir. So understood.
Understood or not? Tell me.
So understood.
And why are you putting a gap in between that and sometimes with dot you are writing? You people remember the string functions or not?
So remember. So this sir, I
Sure.
was typing fast, no, so I have written.
No, Mitrashish has written it like this. See. He has written it this way, like he is writing it for the first time. See what
It's a
Mitrashish
typing
has done?
mistake.
Typing mistake. Then it is okay. So what is the purpose of this function? Tell me. I'll put the index number here. So if my string is storing this thing, what will the character store? This character store now.
The first character of the string.
That is a.
Yes, sir.
Did you get it? So
Yes, sir.
if I write that str is not this, rather it is this. Then what will it mean? I'm taking a value from the user, I'm trimming it, and from that, whatever is kept in str, I'll take the first character into C. So this whole thing can now be written as what?
Beyond readline.thread.charts.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So please go through this chapter. Some more functions are there in a wrapper class called cat, and there is a concept called auto boxing, which we'll not do today, we'll do in the next day only. So go through the chapter once yourself, and the next day we are going to discuss about it. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.